Okay. Okay, so let me just change this view here. I get real. Okay. Well, I didn't really have like a script of what I was going to share today, but I know that you would want me to share kind of my, my big thing is 15 minutes a day can change everything for you. And, in Super Saturday, excuse me for 1 second. Are you leaving? Sorry, my husband's leaving. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry. So on Super Saturday, they actually had the 15 minutes put into the material, but for me, that's been a big part of like how I've done business. And so I just printed this off today, and I'll share it with you. But I actually created this probably about 1.5 years ago, and it's just basically a 2-hour schedule. And it's how, because I felt like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, I have 3 kids, but they're in school, and I felt like 2 hours is like, for me, practical. 2 hours a day. And you don't have to do it all in 2-hour segment, but you could really fit this into the nooks and crannies of your day and spend this amount of time. We also came up with, and I don't have it printed out, but we also came out with a 1 hour a day business plan. And so kind of giving people just kind of the power of focus, like what all you can do in those nooks and crannies. So I'm just going to kind of take you through like my 2-hour schedule, and I stick to it. And I feel like if I do this, like if I'm traveling, or if I get to where I'm kind of, things are slowing down in my business, I always go back to not being consistent with my 2-hour schedule. But if I'm consistent with this, then my business is moving. Things are moving forward. And that's the key, because that is the key. Like, your daily activity is the key to success in Plexus. It's going to build momentum, keep things going. Okay, so my first thing, and I have like time limits beside them, and I literally use a timer. And I'm strict on it. Like, when the time's over, I stop and I move on. And so like my first thing is I'll set a timer for 5 minutes, and I'll track numbers, points, ambassadors. I'll evaluate kind of where I am with my goals. It's kind of like a 5-minute prep for the day. And I've done this for 2.5 years. I literally track where I am, my points, how many ambassadors I added in my first 7 levels, and on a daily basis. And I might go back to the month before and kind of see where I am with momentum. And I do that for 5 minutes. Then 10 minutes, follow up with customers. So I'll set a timer, and then I'll think about maybe someone who has a trial that I need to check in on, or somebody who is, on their first 30 days or whatever. But I check in with customers for 10 minutes. And then I give... Yeah.
On the checking up with the follow up with your customers, how do you follow up?
Well, most of the time I kind of just pull up my customers, and I kind of think about, like who needs followed up on. I mean, I don't have like any major system for that. I've tried to use like note cards and different things, but I'll also tell you too, I'm not a big customer person. I don't have tons of customers, because I start a lot of my customers as ambassadors. You know what I mean? Like, I start a lot of people right off as ambassadors. So I'm not, when I do my weekly and then monthly, like where I, shout out all of these huge PV people, it blows my mind how many customers people have. Because like I turn most of them into ambassadors, but I always have 500 to 1,000 PV still, so it's not like I'm not saying anything as far as like PV is not important. It's just, I don't have a huge customer base. And so my follow up with customers is pretty routine, but it's just by looking at the names and kind of, I'll private message them. I'll voice message them. I'll call them. I'll text them. So I'm not the same. I don't have like a real good, one thing I'll say going through this, I'm very like focused, but as far as like my systems, you would kind of call me organized chaos. So that's the truth behind it. I know what's up, but I don't
totally understand that whole organized chaos.
but I don't have like the perfect method for everything, but I will say that I'm very like focused, and I'll kind of run through a little bit more after I finish this. But the next thing, I give myself 30 minutes on going for no. You know, that's what I like to say. 30 minutes of just prospecting. Like, and that might be calling some people off my Frank's list. That might be friend requesting some new thing. Like, I like to, like, during that time, I like to kind of, you know, go through my friends list on Facebook and then trigger some people that I haven't thought about for a long time that I used to work with, and then, you know, look them up and friend request them, reconnect with old people like that I hadn't, you know, talked to forever. So 30 minutes of that, oh my gosh, that is a long time. I mean, you can reach out to a lot of people in 30 minutes. You know, send some voice messages. Hey, it's been forever. We've not talked forever. I'd love to kind of reconnect. I want to tell you about a couple of things I've been doing. Like, I do a lot of stuff like that. And then I'll set up appointments to talk to people for longer, you know, during that time. So I do a lot of private messages, voice messages, and I'll set up appointments for other periods of time. Okay. And then I allow, you know, another 15 minutes just to follow up with prospects. And so there's like 45 minutes of that. I don't always spend that time. You know, my goal is to kind of connect with 3 to 5 people. But follow up with prospects, maybe get a little bit, like someone who keeps saying they want to join and, you know, hasn't yet. So follow up really during that time. Those are people that maybe you think, oh my gosh, I don't want to follow up with them one more time, but then you make yourself because you have 15 minutes to do it. That's what I always say. Like, I've allotted 15 minutes for follow up because it forces me to like follow up with people, and like, it's kind of hard to do that. So you have to be strategic about that. Okay. And then I'll set a timer for 15 more minutes, and I will work specifically for upcoming meetings. Invite and plan for meetings. And it's also the reason why I think this one's so important is because I think you should always have upcoming opportunity meetings scheduled. Like, you should always have your next meeting. That's, you know, like, that's one of my things I say all the time. Like, you should always be moving. Always be moving. And so, like, you're always planning for that next opportunity meeting. And, you know, like, during that, you know, that might be sending a couple messages to the host and seeing how things are going. How many guests do we think we're going to do? Maybe setting up like some contests, getting some stuff organized. Okay. Sorry. And then I'll set a timer, and I'll for my next 15 minutes, and I'll read a chapter from my current book, highlight and take notes. So I'll read whatever current network marketing book I'm in. Sometimes I'll choose it to be the Bible. So if I've not had my devotions during that time, you know, it's been crazy. So that's what I do, 15 minutes. And then I have 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes of reading about health, read a health article, reading about something, you know, reading about statistics, diabetes, gut health, anything like that. Outside of Plexus, I try to do it. And then once a week, I have on here once a week, do a training video for my YouTube channel or for my team page. And then daily training on my Rock the Pink team page. 10 minutes. I'll put 10 minutes. And I give myself 10 minutes because I like to try to be strategic. I like to try to allow myself to be inspired. And then, you know, this is just something I wrote out for my team, but I have on here, you know, once all that is done, like I'll post maybe a post on Facebook, but I don't allow myself to spend much time browsing, liking, commenting, nothing until I've been intentional. Okay. And I think that that's important because once all that's done, post on Facebook or other social sites 3 times daily. There's even apps, you could do to set up for like, your week of posts. I know a lot of people have done that to where they schedule posts in advance, saves them a lot of time. Maybe they spend an hour on Sunday nights setting up their posts for the week. That's something you can do to be really strategic. But I learned way back when I first started, I used to go to these networking meetings when I was in Florida, just to meet people and network with other people. And one thing that a guy there, he's really big into social media, and he said, if you want to grow your business, you need to post on your Facebook page 3 times a day. And he said, it doesn't need to be all about your business, but it needs to be educational, one post needs to be inspirational, and one post needs to be funny. And he talked about that, that those are the type of people that people are attracted to. Like, if you think about it, if you think about the people that you've been around that's just attractive, like their personality is kind of magnetic. Most of the time, they're inspirational, they're funny, they're educated, they know what's up, and it's like you kind of marvel at them. So that's kind of like what he said. You need to think about your Facebook page. That's how you need to do your Facebook posts. And so, like an educational post would be, you could educate about health. It could be a testimony, really. I think that's educational, something like that. Inspirational, I think, there's all kinds of like inspirational pictures you can do, or inspirational, that's more of a business type of post, or like maybe about the freedom that you have with this business. That can inspire people. And then funny, I think funny can be a picture of your kids. Personal, it can be something that happened that people can relate to, be more relatable. And then I work my Plexus business, I'll just say this, Monday through Saturday. And I also tell my team this, and we've been real strict about this for months. And it has been probably one of the best things we've done, is we work our Plexus business 6 days a week and we take 1 day off. And we take the day off to allow ourselves fresh inspiration. Like, I feel like it kind of keeps us centered to our why, and it allows us to, I think, work it those 6 days with even more fervency and passion when you've allowed yourself to kind of have faith for a day and just believe that, like, God's going to take care of you and like everything, like you're giving him everything. And we've been real consistent with this, and it's been, we've seen the blessing through that. And there's been a big blessing in it. It's not easy because we get messages on Sundays still, and but like we take Sundays off of social media, and from our team, we take the day completely off of Plexus and social media. And it has been, it's been really awesome. So, what else did you want? What else did you need? Or were you thinking?
Honestly, for me, Kim, you want something for me? That's amazing, because that's what I need. I need something to get my, self kicked in the butt on. This is what you do, because I sit down and I'm like, okay, I have one thing on my mind, but then something else will come up and you'll move over to something else, and then you'll forget what the heck you were doing.
Yeah.
Back there. And so, yeah, I mean, this is so, one
thing I wanted to add real quick, I forgot, during the follow-up with prospects and the go for no, during that time, I also, one of the new things I've been doing, which has been keeping me really good in a routine, is I broke all of my level ones, whether they're active or not active. Okay, so this is every one. And I put them in my calendar, like today, I have 3 level ones on my calendar in my phone. And I put them in, like, every month they'll show up on this day, those specific people, and whoever's on my calendar for that day is team members that I reach out to. and maybe I'll just inspire them. Maybe I'll just, I'll send them like a video that maybe I saw that I loved. I'll message them like, hey, do you want to set up a meeting coming forward? Like, they're just on my mind that day. And they're the ones.
Active or not.
Active or not.
Wow, that's good.
And if they're not active, maybe I just post on their page, hey, I was thinking about you today. Hope you're doing good. You know, and it's just that connection, because they'll come back around a lot of times. And I think it's important for you to, you know, remain faithful to the friendships that you've met and you've fostered through Plexus. And I feel like that will come back around, you know, for you. And so that I forgot that I've done that. And when I do my daily thing, I look at who's on my mind that day. And I make sure that when I'm running around, I'm messaging them and I'm voice messaging them or posting on their page. And I make that part of my schedule for that day.
Perfect. I have a question. What kind of, do you set office hours? I mean, I saw you said Monday through Saturday. Are you telling a certain time that you shut down, or what's that like?
Well, part of my organized chaos. I will say that, like, normally my kids are in school all day. So during the day is when my afternoon time is from noon to like 2:30. I'm like, try to be real focused. But I'm also like, the freedom of being at home is sometimes things come up, and like my calendar was completely full today. So, you know, I've probably done like 3 of my daily activities today. And so it's going to literally be like, this will be done in the nooks and crannies of today. Like later on, I'm going to my son's basketball game, and I'll probably like read a couple articles while I'm driving. Well, not me driving, my husband's driving. But I'll probably like read a couple articles in the car, you know, type of thing. I do like to have family time in the evening, and Tim's also really like he doesn't like late at night. He likes us to kind of have some time together after the kids go to bed. So I don't know. For me, I try to be very focused whenever like I have the time to be focused. Mm. Like today I was driving my son to the mall. We had to do that. And I left some messages while I was driving, like for some people. So, you know, I knew that I could follow up during that point, or I could prospect, and I was out. So it's easy to kind of go for no when you're going to be out that day, you know, trying to connect with a new person, hand out business cards, stuff like that. The bottom line is though, and this is what I think is so important, busy or not, you can do this. Because it's not about, it's really about, and this is what, this is what you were saying. It's about what do you do daily to keep your business moving forward? Well, you kind of have to, your only part that's going to help you move forward is you have to be reaching out to people, prospecting and building and following up and, you know, working with your team. But if you're doing kind of touching this every day, you're gonna be kind of touching all aspects of your business. You're going to be furthering your education. You're going to be building yourself up, personal development. You're going to be prospecting. You're going to be following up. You're going to be teaching your team. You're going to be working on relationships. You're going to be touching all aspects of your business.
So whenever, like through your day, you don't necessarily have Monday, this is what I do. You go through these minutes throughout the day, and when you're done with it, you go on about your business or whatever. So you don't necessarily, okay, hang on. Let me get my thoughts together. So like the business hours can be any time throughout your day. Because just like the messages, if you've not sent out messages, you could do Facebook messages later on in the evening while everybody's watching TV or whatever, and things like that. So it doesn't have to start at 7:00 in the morning.
In my perfect world, I do have, because I like organization, and I like to say I have a time every day from 10 to 2, 10 to 2 or 10 to 1 that I am working my business. But in a practical sense, and I think like in a practical, that's not practical for most people. For most people that are doing this, like I would love to have office hours. It just hasn't been, it has not worked for me, like to be really, really focused on having office hours, because then I'll be sitting office hours and someone calls me like, want to do lunch, or like, hey, you want to run to Walmart and Kohl's? And then I'm just like, yeah, why not? Like, that's the freedom. So I think that how do you have freedom and be able to move your business forward? It's not that you have to give up one or the other. It's that you have to be intentional. The things that you need to get done with Plexus every day is the same things. It's how are you going to fit them into your day and be intentional with them. And what happens is that why people don't feel like they can do this and move forward is because it's all or nothing. Either they have, you know, they'll get on this, they'll say, I'm going to work this business every day from this time. And then that time's taken for some reason, or they get busy, and then they'll go days without working their Plexus business. Well, you can't go days without working your Plexus business and keep momentum going. So my whole mentality is that it's not about the, like everything being on this perfect, it's about, you can't go to bed at night until you get these things done. And, you know, some of the things I put on priority, okay, like the end of my priority is like reading a health article, or, because you don't have to be super, super smart to do this business, just so you know. But I mean, the end priorities would be the health article or a chapter of my book, even though those are very, very important. But the things that have to be done daily, reaching out to your team and reaching out to prospects and following up. Like, if you're not doing those daily, then you're not working Plexus daily. Nothing else like will move you forward. I mean, mentality will, so like personal development, but the daily activity is the 100% most important thing.
And the relationships, keeping the relationships going. That's, yes, definitely. Leona and Pam, do you guys have anything that you want to ask Miss Michelle? No? Terry? I can't see you, so I can't see if you're shaking your head yes or no. And Miss Sarah, what about you?
No, but thank you so much. And yeah, that helps me because just getting that list and not saying, okay, these are my business hours, because in our world that is not doable.
I think that's awesome, because that just, you know, I think a lot of times we get caught up in the fact that, you know, we do the same things over and over, and then we're like, okay, surely there has to be more to do. Surely there has to be more that needs to be done. Why is, you know, but really it still goes back to doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important to like have a book that you're reading and reading, like, because, you know, your skills need to be getting sharper. You need to be pushing yourself. If you feel like you are doing the same things and you're not getting any results, then there maybe should be some consideration for maybe what your approach is, how you're reaching out to people, how you're building relationships. And then that's where, you know, you can kind of get a book strategic to kind of your challenges, or like what are you struggling in?
Perfect. Kimberly, anything else from you?
Okay, what about your people? Because most of us on here are working I think all of us on here are working at full time. What about your people that say they just don't have any time? You said you had a 1 hour plan, and I don't expect you to go over all of it, but what's your biggest advice for them to try to fit? Is it just 15 minutes a day, or, you know, fit something in for that?
If someone tells me they don't have time to do Plexus, it's the same thing as someone telling me they don't have money to buy Plexus. I mean, it's absolutely just, people are going to spend time doing what they want to do, and they're going to spend money on what they want to spend money on. Mm-hmm. So I feel like both things are not true. It's more out of passion, because the busiest person can be the most successful in Plexus because they know how to get things done. So I feel like those are just objections, and you can't convince them. You can't convince them by like, okay, I'm going to give you a plan because you don't have time. That's not the way to convince someone that gives you an objection. The same way that someone that doesn't have money, you can't tell them what they can go without in order to pay for Plexus, because that's not going to convince them either, because they want that Red Bull every day. You know, they want that latte every day. That's not going to convince them. So time and money cannot be convinced with those things. Time and money can only be convinced when you get to the root of why they would want to do this. You have to bring someone to find the fuel, like to want to do this. And if they have the why and the fuel, then they will find the time. And it's both ways. I mean, if someone says they can't afford it, well, they don't know the possibilities of the products then. So they need to be woken up to what they could have. And it's the same way with the time. I mean, we've been sitting here for 2.5 years with, I was going to say who they were, but they were family members, but have been telling us that they don't have time to work Plexus. So they've not done anything with their business for 2.5 years, but they want it. This is what they say. They want Plexus freedom. Well, they don't want it bad enough. They don't even have kids. Like, they have time. Like, to me, that's the biggest excuse in the book.
Well, and you're exactly right. People will make time, and they will find the money for the things that they want to make time for and they want to buy.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it. And that Terry says all the time, there are people out there that cannot afford Plexus, but they are very, very few and far between.
Yeah.
But what's so cool about this company is for $34.95, you build your business a little bit and you can afford all the Plexus that you want to take. So that's, so yes, definitely. Okay. So, can you give us some names of some books that you would tell people to start reading?
Okay. So to go right along with what we're talking about today, I would say The Slight Edge is a groundbreaking book for anybody who struggles with consistency or who struggles with what it takes for success. And then John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership absolutely rocked my world. I mean, it changed. It completely changed me. I would say some simple stuff. The 4 Color Personalities book, because it helped me, because I'm definitely a red personality, and I'll run over people to get to what I want type of thing. I mean, that's not really my heart, but I'm just saying that's my personality. And so understanding that not everybody thinks like I do. So kind of helping people in that way, I feel like that was really groundbreaking for me.
Is that one Big Al?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's an easy read. Also a good, just an easy read book too, because I feel like things have to be easy and simple, but I just Rock Your Network Marketing Business and Go Pro. I think those are just people that want to understand what it takes. Those books kind of just lay it out, the follow-up, the prospecting, the list making. We had someone message us recently that wants to get started in Plexus, but we started telling them, well, I want you to go ahead and start making a list of people. And he goes, well, I don't want to do it like that. And we're like, I don't care how easy, because I feel like Plexus is an easy business. I don't care how, and it's the best, has the best compensation plan, it's the best business, but you still have to work it. And it is still network marketing. And it does follow the same principles. You might have better odds because it's a great product and a great compensation plan, but you still need to work it. And so I think those two books are really good. And trying to think, those are my favorites. But The Slight Edge, for someone like my husband, is he's not routine. He doesn't. His biggest when we go do trainings together, he always says, "My wife just does things every day. That's why she's successful. She just does boring things every day." And I didn't have network marketing experience before I got in, but I'm a very routine person. And so when I first got going, I set goals for myself, like I'm just going to do this every day. And it seemed mechanical, but I'm going to post on Facebook. I'm going to reach out to 2 people, and I'm going to send a weekly email. So like that was my goal. That's what I felt like I was comfortable with. And so then, but see, the part of my personality is that I couldn't go to bed at night unless I did what I set out to do. Whereas like Tim hates to be routine. And so he struggles with that. Like doing the daily, it's like the daily grind. Like every day I have like a circle I make in my house. You know, I start a load of laundry. I do this. I do this. I do this. I have like a 15-minute routine I do in the morning, and it helps keep me calm. And I have like a 15-minute rundown that I do at night. And Tim just thinks that I'm psycho. And so, but it's those daily monotonous things that keeps order, and it keeps your business moving forward. And so, anyways.
So what does Tim's day look like?
Well, that's actually what I was getting at. I forgot I was going. So he read that book, The Slight Edge, and it revolutionized his thinking. And he would read stuff out of the book and tell me, he's like, well, this is why you're successful, because you have that slight edge that people don't have. It's like understanding that like what you do today, like say those 3 people that you reach out today may or may not join you, but it is the consistent behavior of reaching out to 3 people a day that will cause momentum and success. And the slight edge is the daily behavior. And so, because a lot of people give up too quick, you know, and so the slight edge says the people that they'll push through no matter what. Tim's day, it looks like he's all over the place, but prospecting is every part of his day. I took a picture of him last night. I'll show you this. He's a lot more inspirational. He's always thinking big picture, and and that's part of why, like, I look at during the back office, craziness that we've been dealing with the past few months. He is the one that if I get down or I get frustration, he will look me in the face and say, get over yourself and just work your butt off. You know, just work through it, because we're too invested to have a bad attitude. Like we want it too bad to be mad. You know, or we believe in plexus too much to stop. So like the alternative, what's the alternative? Just to stop, to quit? Well, no. So the only thing that you can do is just work your butt off and go to bat. And like his whole thing is always like the buck stops here. You know, like it stops with me. So like if someone comes to me with an issue, like it's going to get resolved. Like it's going to get resolved somehow. And I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just going to fix it. And so we're very like we try to keep things into perspective always. He's always a perspective person. Well, yeah, like maybe you had to call customer service every day, but are you kidding me? You had to work 40 to 50 hours a week to make a fraction of what you used to make. Basically, I had to put some hours in during the last few months. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to put all these hours in. Well, I'm making more money than I've ever made in my life. I think I can invest a little bit of time to help this company get through a huge transition that's going to put us into an amazing future.
Good stuff right there. In fact, some days I think maybe you should go to some of the pages on Facebook and put that video right there out there.
And that's also my advice. Don't get on those pages. Don't unfriend yourself. Stay away from it. Stay away from the drama. Stay away from it.
Amen.
I took a picture last night of Tim. His new goal for 2016 is to take over Australia and New Zealand. And he goes, see this, Michelle? He's like, I'm going to take it over. He goes, I'm going to travel there this year and I'm going to like get a team going. So he has 2 guys that he knows that's from New Zealand. Like he wants it so bad that he's like, I mean, he's committed to being diamond this year. And so, and he will be, because like he believes it that he will be, and he's working his business like he will be. And so, you know, he's meeting with somebody right now. Like he's on the phone with his team, prospecting or meeting with somebody all the time. I mean, that's what he's doing. He doesn't get caught up with the other stuff. He probably, I'm trying to think. He doesn't get caught up on posting on our team page very much. That's mostly me. He does our weekly calls, like get all that stuff with YouTube. He probably like doesn't read very much health articles or anything, but he's a personal trainer. So he loves to work out, and he's into all that stuff. But you know what he does the most is helps all of these crazy women keep perspective. That's what he says. He's like, that's what he feels like his role is. And people are very calmed by him. And so he spends a lot of time on the phone. And I think it's cool because he is a guy that works the business full time. And he's figured out how to prospect women, but in a professional way. Like this was him. We were at a restaurant. Let me find it. This week we were at a restaurant, and he'll do challenges like this with the team. And he wanted to, now I can't find it. He started prospecting our waitress and then took a picture of her with his business card. So yeah, he does stuff like that.
Do you have any idea who the author of The Slight Edge is?
This is him. His waitress. The Slight Edge, I think Jeff Olson, is that seem right? Let me see. I have the books in there somewhere, but I'll look it up real quick. Jeff Olson.
Was Tim on board from the very beginning as far as prospecting, or did he kind of sit back and watch you for a little bit?
He definitely was involved in the sense of he would help me go to meetings. He was always there to support me. He never talked in front of people. When we decided to move back to Ohio and for him to go full time, he was like, all of a sudden he had all these grand plans for like YouTube, doing these meetings and everything else. And it got to a point where I'm like, that's not network marketing. Like I kept telling him like, but you're not doing network marketing. And it had to get to a point to where like he was going backwards on I was going backwards on Emerald, and he was going backwards on Senior Ruby. We had moved our family all the way up to Ohio, and like it had to get to a point of like where like a kind of a little bit of a desperation point for him to realize what it was going to take to move this business forward. And it was going to take some extreme, intense focus and like a lot of work. And so when he understood really at that point and started reading some of these books and started like Like he's completely different now. Like that's all he does is meet with people. Like that's all he does is get on the phone with people, prospect, call people, train his team. But yeah, he was always been on board, but he not the same way he is now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I've got one that really supports me in other ways. I mean, he'll make my graphics, he'll do meetings, he'll do this, that, but to getting to actually prospect on a regular basis is, I mean, he'll mention it to people and stuff, but not prospect. So.
Most people don't understand the intensity and focus that it takes to bring people into this business if you want to be to have the continued success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have another question for you. You mentioned at Super Saturday that there was a period that you were, well, you just even said it again. You kind of started to go backwards at Emerald a little bit. And you said you, I guess, stayed there for a while. What major change did you make? Because you've kind of had a plan here. What did you implement that kind of got you unstuck?
Well, the daily schedule was a big part of it. We were just kind of reacting on a daily basis. And if you react all day, you will never get anything moving forward. And I think that was like a big switch. Mentally, I wasn't tough enough. Like I wasn't tough enough to say, I was being too apologetic. And I can look back and I can see this stuff now because during that point, I remember getting on the phone with Helen McFadden and I said, I just don't know what to do. Like I'm stuck, and and she goes, Michelle, just go out and recruit 10 people. We won't even be having this conversation. Well, I'm like, if you commit to going out and recruiting 10 people, you're going to change a lot of your ways real quick. Because for one, you're going to have to figure out how to prospect and recruit 10 people. Like that's the first part. And so I just stopped focusing on where my numbers were and I started focusing on bringing in new people and growth and like our whole team. I started talking like recruiting. We'd start doing contests all centered around growth. We're bringing new people. Everyone needs to bring in new people. And it was just kind of a mentality change. I seriously don't know exactly what happened except for we woke up one day and like Tim just came up. Tim said that he felt like God gave him like a download and he felt like he knew that what he was supposed to do. And he said that he woke up and he heard that God tell him, because he was praying because we were like scared, not scared, but I mean, we're all in. Like Lexus is what pays our bills. And we were going backwards and that wasn't the plan. And so we got up, one day and he goes, I have a plan. It's like God gave him, and it says, and he said that God said, put your money where your mouth is. And so Tim's just like had to think about it. He goes, I know, we're supposed to invest in our team, like invest in them. And we're supposed to go out and we're supposed to bring people into this opportunity. And so I started just, and like up until that point on our YouTube training, we were just having like testimonies based, like they were product-based testimonies on our YouTube. And we started from that point on, trying to only interview people that had huge business success. And it was almost like we had to bring up the level of people, of like what was going to inspire people to greatness, inspire people to more. And then right around that time too, we had went to Maui and I looked around. I think I might've said this at Super Saturday. I looked around and I thought like it made sense for everyone else to be successful, but I never felt like it made sense for me. Like I didn't see myself as a diamond. And I just was in the shower like then. And I just started crying. And I realized I had never visualized my diamond documentary. Like, and I allowed myself to think, like, what was my diamond documentary going to be? Like, and I was like, I wanted to think about it. And I allowed myself to like, just stop and dream about myself being a diamond. And I don't know what happened that day, but I'm going to tell you, I worked my business differently from that. I mean, I walked around and decided when I came back from that Maui trip that I was completely going to be completely unapologetic. And so when I talk to my team, I'm like, I'm unapologetic about this business. If you want it, you want to do this. Let's talk about why you want it. Let's get to what's going to make you like a lot of people are just, they try to like cater to too many people, and they try to be like people want someone to lead them, and they want strength, I think. And they want people to be strong in their beliefs. And when I started doing that, people started believing me or something. I don't know what happened, but it was like things changed, and they changed quick. I went sapphire, and then diamond 3 months later. Like, it's hard to even put into words what happened, but it also, and it gets me emotional, but it also is why what is inside is more important than we realize. And what our thoughts are is so much more important than we realize. Because everything you do comes out of that. Everything. How you do everything comes out of that. What people take away comes out of that. So
Thank you. That was perfect.
Okay, hang on just a second. I need to unmute Sarah Chamberlain. Okay, Sarah, go. Are you on there? Miss Sarah.
Hello, can you hear me?
There you go. Okay, yes.
Okay, we're in a bad area. I was wondering, like, do you have some specific scripts that you send out to people? Because, like, I don't know if I'm too little of words or too wordy, if that makes sense. Like, whenever you're prospecting people, do you, like, kind of have a script that you have kind of, and then you can change it up?
Yeah, Tamara Holloway put together some real good scripts from convention last year. I don't know if any of you were on that convention group. And Melissa, that may be something that I don't know if you have access to, but I can send over if not. But there was some really good scripts that a lot of people get really good results with from that. It kind of tells you, like, it says some stuff about Plexus and what it is, but it's also like, I've been thinking about you. You would be amazing at it, kind of to build a little belief. For me personally, I always, when I reach out to someone, I try to reach out to them in the capacity that I know them in. So if it's someone that I used to work with, like, this is just an example. I personally am not real scripted, but some people like to have scripts, and those are the scripts I would go to because they've gotten tremendous results. For me, like, if it's someone I used to work with, I'll just say, hey, Susie, I haven't talked to you forever. I was just thinking about you today, and I would love to chat sometime and catch up. And, like, I'll just try to set a time to get on the phone with them. And that works pretty good. Or I try to keep my stuff really, like, short and simple, but try to build some belief in them. I don't know. But I would go to those scripts that Tamara has because it really does. I think those are really the best examples that I've seen out there.
Do you remember the name of that group? I have it somewhere written down.
I'm in it. I can help you guys.
Yeah. Find those and share those scripts with them because those are good.
Hey.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think so. Are you done, Sarah?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Hey, I just have a quick question. Whenever you sign up a new ambassador, what are the first things that you do with them? I've heard a lot of people say that you should get them on the phone with your upline. How do you not overload them but keep them serious about working the business?
I think that goes, to whatever capacity they're joining in as well. I mean, I think a lot of times when they're joining and they're just starting the products, I think your biggest key to success is getting them, like, on the phone and making sure that they understand how to take the products and just getting the results, first of all. And then, but one thing that our team has been doing this has been probably for the last 2 months, and it has been so successful, is we have a new ambassador training every week, and a Zoom training. And we follow we follow a PowerPoint by Melissa Eichenhorst, and it goes through your why, goes through the compensation plan, goes through fast start bonuses, and we try to get our new ambassadors to jump on one of those. And that has been, I can't even tell you, like, the results that that's been getting. People love it.
Love to hear that, because our team just started that last Thursday, and it's following Melissa's PowerPoint. And so that is something that the Freedom Team has just started. So that'll be so good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, like we just split it up between all of our senior rubies and above. And so like you're only having, as a leader, I'm only having to lead it like once every 3 months. But there's like a training every week that I can send someone to. So that's been good. I also feel like one of the things that I like to tell new people, brand new people, is say, listen, most people, and I try to put it off as like not the pressure, because that's the thing, like people don't want to overload them because they feel like it's going to be too much pressure. But it's not your responsibility to know what they're going to do or not do, or want to do and not want to do. But it is your responsibility to kind of lay out what the possibilities are. And so I tell people, listen, a lot of people like to know how to make back their money the first month. A lot of people like to know, even if they're just a customer, even if they're just a wholesale user. You know, I always say, I know that, you know, I don't know how much you're wanting to work the business, but I always tell people the 2 bonuses they can get the first 30 days. A lot of people, the first month they're in. So if you go silver, 3 people, you get your $100 back. If you go fast start, so you get 20 people, you can get up to $700 in bonuses. And people are like, oh, okay. But you just make it really simple. Like, you know, you want to make back your money. And then that's what you can, because it's up to them what they want to do with that. But that might turn somebody who wasn't thinking about all that to be like, okay, $700, let's do it. So, you know, keep it simple, but like show them the way.
Perfect. Anyone else? Abby, Jo, Kay, Ann, I know you have something to say.
No, I'm just so sorry I'm late. We have guests here and they're awesome, but I didn't check my email, so I love you, Michelle, and I'm gonna be watching the.
Oh, you're fine. Totally fine.
I'm assuming you've already talked about your 15-minute thing and how you do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's what I wanted to hear more about. So I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah. And I just went through it, which I'm going to actually, I'll just send over my 1 and 2 hour plan to you. And then you can just post them, and, you know, people can take it or leave it. You know, the thing is it's not like a groundbreaking thing, but the thing that I just want people to know is that they can accomplish a lot being intentional. And people just waste so much time, and they're not doing anything. People waste time doing nothing.
Exactly. Well, and I think it is groundbreaking. I mean, because that is, once you change the mindset from work to intentional work, you know, I think a lot of things change, because it's like you said a while ago, you know, I mean, it's all about what we think.
Yeah.
And whatever we put into it, you know, that's what we're going to get out of it. And a lot of times people feel like they spend hours doing things, but it's not income producing anything.
Yeah.
Just scrolling through Facebook and, like you said, liking all of the, you know, deals and those types of things. It's not, you know, that's not something that, but people look at that, and because they see people that have built their business on Facebook, they think, okay, well, if I do that, that's all I have to do.
Yeah.
So it is, I think it is groundbreaking. And I mean, seriously, I can't tell you how excited I am about this. And it's just going to catapult us all. Girls, it's going to, and Terry, sorry. It's going to catapult us all to the next level. I believe.
You know what I feel like I love the most about it, and I'll just end on this, is that I think it can give people a lot of peace.
Yes.
Because if they know what to do, then you do what you do and you let go. Like, you trust the process from there. Well, I reached out to my people today, so I'm going to be free. I can go play with my kids because I did the daily activity that I know was I needed to do. And so for me, like, I felt like I needed peace in my life. And I needed a plan that's going to give me rest. Because I'm not going to be able to inspire people to do this business if I say you have to be so stressed all day long because you're wanting to get to the top of the company. Like, that's not inspirational. But that's how a lot of ambassadors walk around, like, trying to figure out a way to make this happen. Well, come up with a plan and work the plan and be intentional and get it done. And then have some fun. And then get up the next day and do it again.
Trust the process. I love the way, because I've heard you say that more than once. And I love that, because once you've done what you can only do what you can do.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is up to them. So, all right, girls, I see you unmuted yourself. Did somebody have something real quick?
I just wanted to say that one statement brought tears.
Yeah, that was.
And it just, phenomenal. And the one big thing, I think I overwhelmed myself. I think you mentioned putting 3 people a day on your calendar that you're going to contact. Because sometimes I think, oh my gosh, I got to call her. And I've been trying to set up appointments, but I just literally overwhelmed myself to the point I don't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that brought tears. Your last statement, that was phenomenal. Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It's come out of my own, insanity. And so if I can help one more person find peace and still be successful in this business, then we've accomplished something big. So
great. Michelle, I cannot thank you enough.